Today, I'm about to crack open a truth so heavy it might split your chest wide open. Listen. Somewhere inside you, buried under all the pretending, you already know this. When someone stops caring, when their gaze turns colder, it's not just their absence that hurts. It's the way you start to lose pieces of yourself trying to bring them back. It feels like standing barefoot on broken glass, bleeding memories into the wind, screaming into a silence that refuses to scream back. You keep wondering, where did I lose them? But the harder question, the one that keeps you awake at 2 a.m., is where did I lose myself? And that's where Stoicism steps in, not as a soft whisper, but as a hammer slamming against the rusted chains around your soul. It doesn't teach you to beg. It doesn't teach you to kneel. It teaches you to disappear with such power that your absence haunts them louder than your words ever could. You don't chase. You don't plead. You don't drown in their forgetfulness. No, you vanish, and your silence becomes the ghost that rattles their bones at midnight. Longing isn't born by screaming louder. It's born when the music suddenly cuts off and the emptiness becomes deafening. Seneca once roared into history, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And you have wasted enough. Wasted your fire, your nights, your soul trying to be seen by those too blind to recognize gold burning right in front of them. Stoicism doesn't ask you to wait for them to notice. It commands you to stand so fiercely in your own gravity that when you walk away, the universe shifts and they stumble, feeling the void you left behind like missing air in their lungs. Today, I'm about to hand you 5 soul-carved Stoic principles. Not sweet words, not shiny tricks, but weapons forged in fire and loneliness, designed to make anyone who ever underestimated your presence feel the cold, unbearable burn of losing you. These aren't strategies. They're seismic shifts. Once you live them, you won't just be missed. You'll be etched into the backs of their eyelids, into the hollow spaces they never knew they had. Before we dive headfirst into this transformation, smash that like button if your heart's already pounding. Share this with someone whose fire needs relighting. Drop your raw thoughts in the comments like thunder, and subscribe if you're ready to stop being forgotten and start becoming unforgettable. What I'm about to unleash isn't surface-level talk. It's war paint for your spirit. Miss this and you stay forgotten. Learn this and you become the storm they never saw coming. Let's set fire to the silence. Let's begin. Number 1, withdraw with dignity, not bitterness. There's a kind of silence that doesn't just fill a room, it swallows it whole. When someone expects you to fall apart, to come crawling back with hands full of broken promises and wide, desperate eyes, you must give them something far more lethal, absolute, unshakable dignity. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't even leave a crack for them to peek through. You pull back the entire universe of yourself like a tide retreating before the storm. Your disappearance must not scream. It must whisper, it must ache, it must haunt, because nothing buries itself deeper into the bones than the loss that came without warning, without noise, without collapse. When you react with grace so chilling it could stop the blood in their veins, you take away their script, their comfort, their ability to make sense of what just happened. They expected rage. They expected pleading. They got an empty cathedral echoing with their own regret. This is what Stoicism forges in the fire of heartbreak. Epictetus wasn't speaking in riddles when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." He was giving you a sword they'll never see coming. It's not enough to walk away. You must walk away like a king, abandoning a burning city he knows will never be worthy of him again. Real dignity doesn't chase validation. It doesn't stay behind to explain its worth. It leaves a silhouette burned into the sky, a phantom ache that grows louder the longer it is ignored. Understand this. People aren't haunted by the ones who yelled at them. They're haunted by the ones who vanished without giving them the luxury of closure. Your silence becomes a mirror they're too afraid to look into, reflecting all the ways they failed you, all the ways they never deserved you, all the ways they now have to live without you. Visualize it. You were the towering oak tree that stood through every season, through every storm, giving shelter without ever asking for anything back. And one day, without drama, without warning, the tree is gone. In its place, nothing but empty ground and the merciless sun burning down on them with no mercy, no forgiveness. They don't miss you immediately. No, they first feel something missing, a discomfort, a dryness in the air, and then it grows. It chokes. And by the time they realize it was you they lost, it's already too late because you didn't walk away to teach them a lesson. You walked away because your soul remembered what it was worth. When you withdraw with dignity, not bitterness, you don't just leave them behind. You haunt their empty spaces. You become the silent prayer on their worst nights, the missing heartbeat they hear when the world goes quiet. And that is a power no begging, no screaming, no desperate chasing could ever match. Number 2, master the art of unpredictability. Predictability is the slow rot of desire. It's the poison that turns your once magnetic soul into background static they don't even hear anymore. If they know your next move, they stop chasing your spirit. They stop craving your fire. They shelf you like a story they think they've already read. But Stoicism wasn't born to make you mild. It was forged to make you sovereign, untouchable, terrifying in your self-possession. Marcus Aurelius didn't write for cowards. When he said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one," he was daring you to become the storm, not explain why you are one. You must tear apart every script they tried to write for you. You must dismantle every expectation they lazily draped over your name. Some days you blaze through their life like a meteor crashing from the heavens, unstoppable, unforgettable. Other days you are gone without warning, a whisper ripped from the throat of the wind, a ghost they can't summon no matter how loudly they call. You don't belong to their schedule. You don't answer to their hunger. You move like a force of nature, wild, unpredictable, mercilessly alive. You become an earthquake in their memory, shaking loose everything they thought was stable. Think of it like this: a river that sometimes rages with such primal force it drowns the world around it, and other times vanishes into hidden caverns no map can trace. And the villagers, they don't forget. They don't rebuild and move on. They sit by the banks, haunted by the memory of its roar, staring into the dust, praying for even a glimpse of the fury they once took for granted. You must become that river, not a trickle, not a puddle, a raging, living myth that refuses to be tamed. Understand, unpredictability isn't about playing childish games. It's about making your soul so wild, so uncatchable that your absence slices through them sharper than your presence ever could. It's about living at such a high frequency that ordinary minds can't even hold on to you without burning themselves. When they cannot trace your steps, when they cannot pin you down, when they realize they can't predict your flame or your silence, they miss you not just with their minds, but with their blood, their bones, their entire trembling existence. You don't just be missed, you haunt. You echo. You own a piece of their spirit they'll never get back. Number 3, build a life they cannot touch. There's a silence in this world far louder than screams. It's the silence of being erased from someone's rising story. It's the loneliness that doesn't come from missing them, but from realizing they are no longer part of your legend. You don't fight for a seat at their crumbling table. You build your own damn empire. You become the cathedral they can see from 1,000 miles away, but will never enter again. Stoicism doesn't teach you to move on. It commands you to rise. It doesn't tell you to get over it. It orders you to forge something so enormous that the ruins of the past look like dust under your boots. Seneca once wrote, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Understand this. The betrayal, the abandonment, the heartbreak, those weren't just random wounds. They were the sharpening stones. And you're about to carve your name into history with them. You don't announce your pain to the world like some sob story. You don't scatter broken pieces across social media begging for validation. No, you turn inward. You grit your teeth and you build. You build when the nights feel endless and the loneliness cuts like glass. You build when your chest aches so violently you think your ribs might snap. You build because your future self demands it. You train your body until the pain leaks out through your sweat. You feed your mind until your enemies can't even recognize the mind they once tried to diminish. You sculpt a version of yourself so ferociously untouchable that the past can't even reach you with both hands outstretched. Imagine it. A castle rising from the rubble, forged not with gentle hands but with fists blooded from the climb. Towering walls kissed by storms, gates sealed with iron will. Golden spires that scrape the sky, visible to all, reachable by none. And them they are left staring through the smoke and the distance, knowing they cannot breach the gates anymore. That is how you win. You don't win by trying to make them miss you. You win by becoming someone they couldn't even dream of standing beside now. And hear me when I say this. You owe them nothing, not a glance, not a second thought. They are spectators now, silenced witnesses to the unstoppable force you have become. Every brick you lay, every scar you wear, every goal you smash through the walls of your own limitations, it all echoes back to them without you ever speaking a single damn word. Your existence becomes their reminder. Your light becomes their regret. You don't whisper revenge. You don't scream your comeback. You walk so far ahead they have to climb mountains just to catch your shadow. And by the time they look back, you won't just be gone, you will be a goddamn myth. Number 4, control your narrative. Speak only in power. When they walk away, they are not hopping you heal. They are hopping you collapse into yourself, hopping you crack open and spill your pride across their absence. They are counting on your weakness to validate their betrayal. They expect your hands to tremble across the keyboard, your voice to beg into the void, your soul to bleed itself dry through 1,000 unanswered messages. Because nothing feeds the ego like watching someone drown in the loss of you. And every time you chase, every time you explain, every time you cry out into empty space, you don't just lose them, you lose yourself. But you are not built for that kind of death. You are not made to scatter your spirit like ashes at the feet of those who chose the door. You are built to become a fortress, to become the silence they never learned how to live without. Stoicism is not stillness. It is savage control. It is the art of holding a hurricane inside your chest and letting no one hear the storm. Zeno didn't just teach silence. He taught survival through sovereignty. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Not because you owe the world your listening, but because you owe yourself your throne. When the fire rises in your blood, when every broken piece of you screams to be seen, that is when you must vanish into your own legend. Do not answer their absence with noise. Answer it with the deafening roar of nothing. Not a text, not a whisper, not a single crack in the marble of your composure. Rage will only prove you cared. Tears will only prove they mattered. But silence will tear through their mind like a ghost that refuses to die. It will rot them from the inside. It will hollow them out. It will leave them clawing through their memories, searching for the sound of you, finding only the brutal emptiness you chose to leave behind. Imagine your words as ancient gold, coins hammered out of your very bones. Every time you speak to someone unworthy, you melt a piece of your empire into nothingness. Every wasted sentence, every unnecessary explanation, every emotional outburst is another brick ripped from the fortress of your dignity. You do not waste gold on the ungrateful. You do not decorate the coffins of the past with the treasures of your living soul. You save your words for the thrones you are building, not the graves you are leaving behind. Silence is not absence. It is artillery. It is warfare in its purest, cleanest form. When you give them nothing, you force them to face everything, their doubts, their regrets, their wrongs. And when they finally realize they are talking to the empty ruins of what they destroyed, and that you are no longer there to hear it, that is when you win. Not with noise, not with explanations, not with apologies, with absence, with mystery, with the heavy, unbearable silence of a story they can no longer rewrite. You must outgrow the need to explain yourself. You must outgrow the fantasy of closure. Closure is not given, it is taken. It is seized the moment you choose to move without needing anyone to understand why. Let your silence be the monument they cannot destroy. Let your restraint be the ghost that kisses their guilt every time they close their eyes. Let the absence of your voice be louder than any scream you could have unleashed. Control the narrative. Speak only in power. And when you must speak, speak like a god walking through the ruins they left behind. Number 5, master the power of scarcity. You are not built to be a vending machine for validation. You are not a song on repeat, begging to be replayed until the world forgets it ever moved them. You are born of rarer blood, a soul designed for distance, for elevation, for absence that howls louder than presence. Scarcity is not a tactic. It is your birthright. It is the art of becoming the oxygen they notice only when they cannot breathe you anymore. Musonius Rufus sharpened it to a blade. Self-control over your impulses isn't just power, it is empire. And your empire does not run discount sales. You must unlearn the disease of overexposure. You must rip yourself away from the instinct to always be reachable, always be explainable, always be ready to bleed your time for those who would spend it like pennies. Your life is not cheap. Your energy is not community property. Every time you make yourself too available, you carve pieces off your own soul and hand them to people who never earned the right to hold them. Scarcity is the armor you wear to survive a world addicted to using beautiful things and throwing them away. Picture a diamond deep underground, untouched by filthy hands, its very inaccessibility making kings and thieves alike weep with hunger. That's what you must become. The silence after a legendary song. The vanished lighthouse that sailors cry out for in the night. The shadow of something once reachable, now burning behind walls they can no longer climb. You are not here to be convenient. You are here to be unforgettable. When they used to hear your laughter at every call, they smiled. When they could flood your phone with meaningless words and still expect warmth, they grew blind. When they could summon you without sacrifice, they forgot you were human, not a utility. But when you vanish, when your voice becomes myth, when your laughter becomes legend, whispered across sleepless nights, then you will be priceless in the ruins of their memory. And that is a wound that does not heal. You must become the masterpiece locked away from grubby, unworthy hands. A painting glimpsed only once in a lifetime. A story no one is strong enough to rewrite. Do not explain your absence. Do not apologize for your distance. Let the aching silence between you and the world scream of your new worth. Let the locked door of your soul rattle their bones. They will call it arrogance. They will call it cruelty. Let them. Diamonds do not explain to stones why they shine. Scarcity does not just protect you, it purifies you. It peels away the ungrateful, the shallow, the parasites who fed on your endless giving. It leaves you standing alone, sharpened, immortal, untouched. And when they realize the gates are closed and the lights have gone out, when they realize you are no longer a river but a drought they cannot escape, they will understand the price of their ignorance. But by then, you will have already sailed beyond the reach of their regret, become the absence they pray to fill, become the scarcity they cannot survive without. And when you finally speak again, speak as one who no longer needs to be heard. If you dare to carve these 5 Stoic laws into your bones, if you choose dignity over noise, mystery over familiarity, power over panic, silence over begging, and scarcity over self-destruction, you will not just leave footprints in their mind. You will become a ghost that whispers through the cracks of their ordinary lives. They will not miss you like a lost friend. They will miss you like a man misses air after drowning. You will haunt the silence between their thoughts. You will bleed into the places they once felt invincible. A song they can no longer hear but can never forget. A shadow stitched into their regrets. And every time the world grows quiet, your absence will punch the breath from their lungs. You were never meant to be an afterthought. You were meant to be a legend, the kind that time itself cannot erase. You are not here to be recycled, replayed, or replaced. You are here to rise above memory itself, to leave echoes that collapse ceilings, to become the name that tightens throats in empty rooms. Live rare, speak like a king, disappear like a ghost, return like a storm. If this struck a nerve in you, if it peeled open the part of you that refuses to die forgotten, smash the like button. Drop your battle cry in the comments. Share this video with someone who needs to feel the burn, and subscribe to the channel because your story isn't finished yet. It's only getting louder.